Hi, Brad Ward here, Ward's Auctions and Bud Haynes Auctions. It is auction time again, and we have a fantastic sale coming up for the summer sale of 2019, August 17th. It's going to be a daytime sale, obviously. We're going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, opening the doors at 9. The day before is Friday the 16th. That's the day you want to come, and so you can view everything. 900 and some lots, quality lots too, very little schmutz in it. And that's going to be open from 3 o'clock until 8 o'clock on that day. So you want to come in person. We've got something like 24 Winchester commemoratives, and not just, sort of the same old, but some really specific pieces like the Calgary Stampede one here. We don't see that many in a fitted case. Then you've got some deluxe versions of the Alberta Diamond Jubilee and the Saskatchewan Diamond with the actual diamond sights in them. So again, you're going to want to have a look at that. There's more around the corner here. There's more in the other room. We have an excellent selection of bear traps, some really nice brand names as well. So you're going to want to have a look at that. Really want to get the point across about estate pieces. When you're dealing with an estate, or maybe there's an estate coming up, and there's firearms, call us. That's the time to call us, is when you're making your plans. We have this little Ford Focus in the sale. 2007, I think it is. Good little runabout, one of the kids. Kids are just getting their driver's license or something like that. That's a good little runabout there. Remington safe. It's in virtually brand new condition. Of course, obviously we have the combination and everything for it. I don't know if it's openable. It's locked right now, but we have the combination and everything for that. We've got a terrific selection of optics as well in the sale. Probably some brand new ones, or sometimes it's hard to tell, but they're virtually new, and some decent quality, gently used ones. Some air rifles and air pistols as well. Large selection of ammunition, and you're going to find that they're in decent sized lots. They're not in little tiny groupings. So definitely pay attention to that, and well described in the catalog. So just a touch and a note again on estate pieces. In this sale, Don Ofsty is one of the consigners in the sale. You've seen his picture on the catalog, I believe, and on the website, I would hope anyway. And there's a plethora of other estate packages in here, everything from pieces up from Yellowknife or down from Yellowknife, a selection that I went to Calgary to pick up myself. The executor is in the U.S., and the estate was up here. Those pieces ended up at the Calgary Police Department, and I picked them up from there. Not an unusual thing at all. Going to the Edmonton Police Department, not an unusual thing at all. At the same time, though, that you could save some wear and tear on the collection, not to be disparaging to those officers when they're picking them up, but they're not gun guys. To them, it's probably more of a hassle than anything else. But they just stack them up like cordwood with no protection in between and whatnot. So really, if in an estate situation you're unsure what to do, and you're online, you're planning now, and you're finding this video, you phone us. We're at 780-451-4549 in Edmonton. If you're a local or Alberta, and as you saw in the video from last November, we were in Ontario picking up a collection. We can secure that collection right out of the gate and give you time to breathe and whatnot, rather than have them get potentially mishandled. So, but again, if they end up at the police, we can deal with that as well. So, because there's lots of other estate, and most of what we do is downsizing or estate. So whether it's living estate or not, whether it's actual estate, and we know how to handle the paperwork and so on. So a lot of people are not versed on it. Politically, for a minute, when I was a kid, every single thing we played was firearms. If we were either playing cops and robbers, and I literally had a little gun like this that was probably called a detective special in the packaging, and you would carry that around. And I remember one time my buddy Paul and I won't use his last name because he'd probably get embarrassed that I mentioned that. We had this sort of situation going on, and we made two little badges, little fold-out wallet badges that we had, and we were wandering around. Now, if that happened today, it would be in the newspaper. It would be 8-year-olds arrested for impersonating detectives and sentenced to 3 years or some ridiculous thing. So we were either playing cops and robbers, I was James Bond, and I had a little PPK, or I was playing cowboys and Indians. So you'd have a single action like this and a lever action. Nowadays, I guess that would be called undocumented ranch hands and Canadians you'd be playing. Or we were playing war, in which case literally had the M16 and the Colt 45, and I remember having one that you pulled the trigger and it rattled every time you pulled the trigger, and it was absolutely awesome. That's what we did. Everything. If you picked up a stick, you put an elastic band on it, you were shooting something. In high school, which for me wasn't that long ago, I guess it depends on who you ask, every truck still had not necessarily in the back window, although there was some, but some in the back window, and at least under the seat. We were out in the country. There was a Model 94 or a single-shot shotgun or whatever the case may be, and it didn't seem to be the chaos. I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but anyhow, politically speaking, I don't know what's going on. This is an awesome piece here. Lot number 250. This is actually an antique. This is a Remington. It's in .44 caliber. It's in 1875. And this letter that's underneath here is the letter from the RCMP showing it as being an antique. So you can rest assured there. We have a Colt Python in stainless back there on the other side of the fence. And I have one of these. These are awesome. This is an 8-shot Smith & Wesson 357. And you can see in there, it's recessed for the moon clips. So some people might not know what the moon clips are, so just pop online and see what that's all about. But that's for good, convenient speed loading. And you'll see how they're chamfered, the chambers there, so that your rounds go in there really nice and easily. So these are a really nice revolver. I have the same one. Mine doesn't have as nice a grip, so I'm a little jealous about that. 44 Magnum Desert Eagle. You have 2 Luger P08s here, both in 9mm. This one is a Prohib 12.6 category, so those that understand the firearms in Canada know what I mean by that. The next one is a restricted, only because of the barrel length. This one is 102 millimeters. This one is 106 millimeters, makes it restricted. So that 4 millimeters of barrel on there makes it a lot safer for the general public. That would be a bit tongue-in-cheek, obviously. The reason I have this Winchester out is this letter that goes along with it. Just so you're not afraid, we're not going to talk about every gun in the sale. I'd be here for 3 days. This letter came with it, and this is from the estate, so we don't have access to the actual gentleman, but he wrote in this letter, "This old Winchester saddle ring carbine was found in the Northwest Territories near Wheeler Lake, north of Fort Ray. An ex-Mountie uncovered it half-buried, 1962, near an old caribou kill site. The gun was manufactured in 1923 and shipped to the Hudson's Bay Company warehouse in Winnipeg, Manitoba. From there it went to the Hudson's Bay Northern Shore store in Yellowknife. No record of the original owner. The gun has been oiled enough so that it works, and it has been fired once since it was found." So the gentleman who is deceased, his daughters made arrangements to get it in, did fire it once. And why wouldn't you? I would do the same thing. So a plethora of handguns inside here. Up on the wall again, we've got a couple of, the layperson would call them AR-15s, and different versions of the same. Those are restricted, and then we have a couple of prohibited pieces in the FN, and again, the layperson would just automatically label this as an AK, but the Norenko. So those are prohibited. Here's another little anomaly, and this goes more to directing to the non-experienced gun person in Canada. This is a restricted piece. This is like a handgun. Yes, it's a revolver. Yes, it has a stock. Look at the length of that barrel. That barrel is longer than this barrel. The overall length is longer than this gun, and yet this is a non-restricted ranch hand or Mars leg. This was in 44 Magnum. I have one of these in 44 Colt. They are a lot of fun. A little weird to shoot, but anyhow, the point is, politically, that's a joke. Some of these are back here. All of these have boxes, you can see. And clearly, as much as some of them might be gently used, there's a whole whack of them that this Ruger is clearly never, other than they probably did a test shot at the factory, this has never been used. So people do buy firearms, probably with the intent, I'm as guilty, but the intent of using it, and then they sit and never get used, and then we're selling brand new pieces from an estate or whatever the case may be. Of course, your commemoratives, they never get shot as a rule. Large selection of levers in the sale. There's even a flat side 95. Pretty decent representation, hasn't been molested as far as somebody trying to over-clean it. And that's the other thing. If you have a collection, your dad's collection or your own maybe, usually if it's your own collection, you know better. Don't be over-cleaning or or anything like that, because you can do a lot of damage to the value of collector pieces by doing anything that's trying to, you're trying to fix it or re-blue it or, heaven forbid, whatever you should possibly do. So be very careful about that. Good old-fashioned gun oil and rag, you can't go too wrong with that. We have 2 drillings in the sale. This one is especially nice because they are 2 upper 16 gauges, and your lower gauge is 303 British. So a little easier for as far as ammunition goes. Where a lot of the drillings they're all awesome, but a lot of times you have awkward calibers to work with on the rifle side of it, as for the most part. We've got some neat cased pieces here, some a little bit more standard, some a bit more rare. This one here is, I don't want to use the word awesome because I promised myself I wouldn't too much. Look at that full wood. I would venture to say all original condition. It does not look monkeyed with at all. Case hardened here, blued there, very light handling, checkered pistol grip, falling block, single shot, set trigger, fitted case, some brass here. There's some napkins with notes on it that had to do with, I haven't looked at it properly, but probably his reloading and his round counts and heaven forbid, I don't even know what else. Like, that is a neat piece. That is an estate piece, and I forget which estate it came from, but it caught my eye as it was sitting there. You can see we have volume again. Volume. The other thing is that as soon as we were getting close to being ready for this sale, so let's say 3 weeks ago, we start getting more and more phone calls and emails. They want to bring stuff in. That's not the time to bring stuff in. We're wrapping up the catalog. We want to get it online. We want to do right by the consigners because that's who we answer to. The best time to bring in pieces is right after a sale. So inevitably, somebody will phone 2 weeks before a sale, I want to bring stuff in, or even a week before. And we say, no, bring it in now, but we can't put it in this sale. It'll be ready for the next sale, blah, blah, blah. And then they still put it off. And then the same people will call 2 weeks before the next sale. We want to bring some stuff in. I'm like, no, you missed the sale again, etc. So, there's already probably 100 pieces in the building now for the next sale. As soon as we're done this one, we will start cataloging and photographing and getting on it. So now's the time to bring stuff in. Another rack here. These are both sides. Both sides are filled. I won't cover them all, but I do really, really smitten with these 2 match guns. This is a Walther UIT match. Very adjustable in every component. Stock, cheek rest, optics, front and back. Really, really clean piece. There's even 2009, 2011 competitor stickers on them. Obviously, if it were me, I would leave those on. Those are history of the gun. There's another one that came in from the same gentleman here. So those are fantastic. This one here is non-restricted. So again, to the person who is a little confused about Canadian gun law, I'm not going to make it any easier on you. This one's non-restricted. The 2 that were on the wall are restricted. The layperson is not going to see any difference. So this is a Robinson Armament XCR, and this is in 5.56 NATO. So this is and nicely appointed, nice optic, pistol grip, bipod, very nice firearm. I keep saying we need to set up a shooting range in this building so I could conveniently test all these pieces as a service to you guys. Again, I'm not going to go all the way down. We got to start wrapping this up. This one here, this Enfield, newer piece, but look at the full wood. I haven't noticed that one before, and that's a great piece. There's a couple of pieces that have interesting carving on them, including this one here. I'm not even going to pretend for 1 minute that I know a lot about the firearm itself. But I do know that it is a great looking piece. Look at that peep sight on the back. Also hand chased to match all of the rest of the chasing and or carving, however you want to call it, that's in there. So again, a great piece. So just as a wrap up, when you're dealing with estates, and again, most of the pieces that are in the sale are from an estate of one form or another. So whether it's 4 or 5 pieces or 100 pieces from one person, you get these little packages. I was even in a house today where has nothing to do with the firearms auction. I was there this morning looking at antiques and so on for the September sale or October sale, and yet we found a firearm in there that he had no idea was even there. Just a single shot 410 shotgun. And he's like, oh, that's probably an air gun. And I pick it up and I said, no, this is a shotgun. So it happens all the time, under the bed, in the closet. People don't even know about it. So just give us a call. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I got these guns. What do I do? Even if you find handguns, even if you find that they're not registered, better to let us figure it out for you. And we have the resources to do that. And then to be doing something that is potentially illegal or untoward or unsafe, you don't need to be hitting the front page of the newspaper for that reason. So all the information is at wardsauctions.com. By the time you're seeing this, online bidding for the sale has already happened. So for those of you that are bidders, and of course your catalogs are on there, and all your photographs, et cetera, et cetera. So give us a call at the office, 780-451-4549. A lot of work goes into this. Jim and Linda come up from Red Deer, from the Haynes team, from Bud Haynes' team, to do a lot of the cataloging and whatnot, and then we do the tech, and Steve does the photographs up here. Michael does a lot of the tech and gets it uploaded, and so there's a lot of work goes into this weekend coming up, and that's the reward for us. That's the fun day. So hope to see you there. My name is Brad Ward, and thanks for watching.